the Canadarm2 and Cygnus and is currently scheduled for release at 10:15 a.m. Central Time. This is a good view of the cupola and the Cuckoo workstation where McLean and St. Jacques will monitor the departure of Cygnus this morning. Flight controllers on the ground just finished conducting a go, no-go poll for Cygnus release this morning, confirming that Cygnus is ready for that on-time departure, just about 5 minutes after at 16:15 or 10:15 a.m. Central Time. Controls of the Canadarm2 have now been handed over to the crew. Over the next several minutes, McLean and St. Jacques will use the station's Canadarm2, the robotic arm you see, to release Cygnus after it has been unbolted from the Earth-facing port of the Unity module, and it is currently maneuvered into the release position. All of that was conducted by ground controllers this morning. McLean and St. Jacques are positioned in the cupola. They practiced this release to prepare for today's departure.
We're targeting a release time of 16:15. And I can also give you a go in step 1 of 1.602, the Cygnus departure monitoring procedure, to check the Cygnus configurations.
The times, copy target time of 16:15. And again, our briefing is complete, and we'll put step 1 in work.
And just a FYI, the 16:15 release time is just so we can get around some Radicom.
And Houston City again to get around what?
Some Radicom.
Copy, understand, okay.
Cygnus is currently 262 statute miles above the Earth, still attached to the Canadarm on the International Space Station. The space station is flying in an orbital nighttime off the southern coast of Australia. Here you can see McLean and St. Jacques inside that cupola workstation, and just above their heads through that cupola window, you can see Cygnus still attached to the Canadarm2, and they are preparing for its departure.
Houston Station for Cygnus.
Go ahead.
In step 1, the Cygnus configuration checks are complete. Crew is ready for release and departure.
We copy. Stand by for release.
That was NASA astronaut Anne McLean confirming that the crew has completed all of their steps and are ready for release at 10:15 Central Time this morning. The crew on board closed the hatch to the Cygnus spacecraft on Wednesday, February 6th, and installed a slingshot CubeSat deployer on Thursday the 7th. Today, Cygnus is taking home 5,500 pounds of trash items. After Cygnus departs from the space station today, it will carry out an extended mission over a little more than 2 weeks. Just prior to the departure, we mentioned the slingshot deployer hardware was installed on Cygnus. The spacecraft will maneuver into a higher altitude, about 50 to 100 kilometers above the space station, where the slingshot satellite deployer will release its 2 CubeSats into orbit. Cygnus will then later move to a lower orbit of 325 kilometers. They'll deploy an additional CubeSat called KickSat-2. It carries 100 tiny satellites called femtosatellites or chipsats. By maneuvering Cygnus above and below the space station to deploy these satellites, teams are able to mitigate debris concerns. After satellite deployment, Cygnus will remain in orbit and is scheduled to deorbit and burn up in the Earth's atmosphere harmlessly over the Pacific Ocean on February 25th.